improving the quality of life for the collective, for the greater good, which I feel is also for like this twin flame path. Because, you know, like this idea of like this union and also mission, it's like this, what people outside of this path tend to, the programming is to settle. And so by choosing this union, which is like a love that is beyond what most people can conceptualize, or choosing like your soul purpose, your mission, and doing what is truly right for your soul, those are things that can improve your quality of life and also improve the quality of life of other people. So I feel like this is actually very fitting. By contributing to the quality of life, living standards, diet, entertainment of others, February 11th people may not only wish to make life easier and more pleasant, but also more meaningful. So I feel like meaning, purpose, is important. Improvements of a practical nature may only be a means to allow more time and energy for intellectual, creative, or spiritual concerns. Indeed, those born on this day are remarkable in that they're able to enjoy the pleasures of life without becoming mired in them or losing sight of what is most important. Like a release. And that was something that just came up in the last card about being very focused about what is truly important to you, being very focused, aware and conscious of your values. Freedom has also come up. Freedom is a central theme in the lives of February 11th people, particularly in regard to overcoming limitations. Transcending limitations is also, I feel like this is such a twin flame message and I had no idea. So thank you. Thank you for bringing this to my sparkling water. Thank you for bringing this to the awareness of the collective. I'm glad you kept reminding me. I just spilled water on my book. Transcending the limitations of their body, whether overcoming congenital or acquired handicaps, or just shoring up their deficiencies, can be both challenging and rewarding for them. In fact, February 11th people hate to see themselves or others held back by any sort of disadvantage, whether physical, mental, or financial. Unfortunately, in their desire to improve the lot of friends, family, and acquaintances, they may demonstrate a better way of doing things with all the best intentions, but wind up being resented for it. So I feel like this is very, very important, especially because of my focus is like health and well-being. And I think of like health in a broader context. So not just physical, like I feel like it's all connected, like physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic health, like they're all connected. And I feel like in this society, a lot of feelings about this, like healthcare isn't really healthcare, like the standard healthcare, it's really like sick care. There isn't a lot of emphasis on like wellness in a way that's actually aligned. And so I think this is very much the case for like my twin flame and I, and our mission is kind of transcending those limits in terms of the body, in terms of attaining a greater level of well-being than most people think is possible. And I feel like for me, it's more like an energetic, emotional, psychological, mental thing, but also physical, all of it. But for him, it's more physical, but it balances out. Like the level of healing that I was able to attain on this journey because of what I feel like that's just part of the journey. It kind of pushes you to heal beyond what most people believe is possible. It's kind of showing that this is possible, making the impossible possible. But I can also relate to this idea of like, you know, you have this, you're like, look at this wonderful thing I was able to do. Let me help you. And you have the best of intentions, but sometimes it doesn't go as intended. Like it's saying, like, you know, you might be trying to do that with the best of intentions and be resented for it. Or, you know, be met with like jealousy, envy, whatever. Like people might not be very receptive to it. Some people, And that really has nothing to do with you, but more of their programming. So it's very, very interesting. And I feel like it's important to keep going, to keep persisting with, not necessarily like I don't believe in giving people what they don't want, but trusting in the value of you and what you're offering and your gifts, being very committed to that. Because if you have a gift, if you have something to offer, that means that is wanted, that is needed, that is desired. It's just about aligning with the people who have been looking for it, because there could be people who have been looking for you, who have been looking for what you offer for a very long time, and it's just about aligning with it. And so if you continue to show up, they can find you. It's all about alignment and divine timing, and divine timing is just about alignment, basically. mostly about alignment. So those born on February 11th can overlook the fact that most people prefer to be left alone to do things their own way, even if they make mistakes or do poorly. Certainly, it can be difficult to watch foolish or stubborn people go on to make the same errors or failing to take advantage of opportunities for improvement, but that is precisely what those born on this day will sometimes have to do. This book can be a little bit harsh, but I feel like it's important to focus on the people that are wanting what you're offering. Because no matter how valuable it is that and even if it would be helpful for them, some people are not in a space to receive it. Some people aren't ready for it. Put your attention on what you want instead of what you don't want. So not putting your attention on the people who aren't ready or aren't open or receptive to what you're offering, but putting your attention on the people who are ready and willing and available and open to receiving what you want now. And if they're not in your reality right now, continue to focus on the energy of having those people. My cat just made a noise. Being in that vibration, like what would it feel like for you to be in the space where you're offering what you want and people are ready for it, people are receiving it, people are celebrating that. Live in that vibration, take action from that space, and you will eventually line up with that. Something is happening with my nose. Those born on February 11th can overlook the fact that most people prefer to be, just said that. February 11th, people who rise in high in society can be regarded as mavericks and antagonize more reactionary spirits who are threatened by change and progress. That can happen too. That can happen too. Thus, in order to remain successful, they will need to cultivate a large measure of tact and diplomacy and become more sensitive to those situations when they're best left untouched. So again, I feel like that goes back to I don't like to give people what they don't want, no matter how amazing it is. I only like to give what I'm offering to the people who actually want it, to be honest. Because like it doesn't benefit anyone to, like, even if it's amazing, like let's say I make chocolate cake, and like some people hate chocolate cake. It wouldn't, but it's like it's an amazing chocolate cake. Like let's say it's healthy. It's a healthy, amazing chocolate cake. Some people just don't like chocolate cake, and so if I continue to focus on those people who don't want chocolate cake, it's a waste of my time and energy. But there's other people who who love chocolate cake and who would love this healthy chocolate cake. This is the most amazing, healthiest chocolate cake that exists on this planet. By focusing on those people who have been wanting this, who've been trying to manifest it, that would be a better use of my energy than to focus on these people who don't like chocolate cake and who don't want it. Because there's like about 8 billion people on this earth. But yes, I feel like when you're on this path, you're kind of like a trailblazer. You're a mold breaker. You're a revolutionary. You're not normal. You're not ordinary. You're extraordinary. And you're doing something very different. You're paving a new path. That is why we're here. And some people who are uncomfortable with change might feel triggered by that, but that is okay. That is for them to work through. That is for them to face within themselves. For you to do what you love, what you're passionate about, what your soul is passionate about, that helps a greater collective. We're meant to introduce new ways of doing things because the old ways of doing things are not working, and why society is collapsing right now. I'm glad that you understand. So, numbers and planets, those born on 11th of the month are ruled by the number 2. So 1 + 1 = 2, and the moon. Those ruled by number 2 often make good coworkers or partners rather than leaders. And this underlines the social orientation of February 11th people. The number 11 also lends a feeling of physical plane, as well as possible interest in twins, coincidences, symmetry, or other doubles. That's very interesting that it mentions twins. A Moon-Uranus connection. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, makes for unusual and eccentric characteristics and a tendency to be highly idealistic. I don't think there is actually a problem with being idealistic. It's Aquarius. We're in the age of Aquarius right now. And so by being idealistic, by being creative, by being imaginative, you're able to give birth to new things that haven't existed before, which I think is very exciting. What people may have thought was impossible before, you might be able to make possible. You know, like how before airplanes were invented, people thought that was impossible. But now we see airplanes, people fly in airplanes all the time. It's kind of like that. You're creating something new that hasn't existed before. You know, like these twin flame unions is basically like a new template, new blueprint of relationships that is rare. We're kind of developing that, and you know, it's okay. Like, I think there's so much like judgment and misconception about it, where people feel like they have to get it perfectly. But because it's this new thing, we're still learning. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to learn as you go along, because you're creating something new, and it's a very big feat, and there isn't a lot of support around it. So just to be even on this path, just to be even doing this is a very big deal. It's very revolutionary. So the tarot, the 11th card is the major arcana is Justice. A serene, seated woman holding the scales in one hand and a sword in the other. She reminds us that the order of the universe and that balance and harmony will be maintained in our lives as long as we continue on our path. So, the importance of staying on your path. That has been a message that keeps coming up. The positive aspects of this card are integrity, fairness, honesty, and discipline. The negative aspects are low initiative, impersonality, fear of innovation, and grievances. So when you're on this path, there's a lot of movement. When you're on this path, you can't really be afraid of innovation. If that comes up, it's about like releasing it. It's very much an Aquarius, that is very much that Aquarius energy of like this new, like, Aquarius is it's interesting. Aquarius is a very unique energy. Like it's about embracing the unique and the mystical, about being different, about standing out. So embracing innovation, being a trailblazer. Health. Those born on February 11th may encounter more emotional difficulties than average. Usually they want to have things their own way and can be quite childish in satisfying their needs, sometimes at the expense of others. You know, I actually am of the perspective of it's okay to do things your own way. You know, as long as it's not from a space of ego, as long as it's coming from a space of soul, as long as it's coming from a space of alignment, as long as it's not coming from a space of pain and trauma and programming. Because I think sometimes people think they're doing things their own way when it's not actually their way. It's really just pain and programming. So when you start to release those things, you start to see what is actually authentic for you. And I think we're actually meant to do things in our way, the way that is right for our soul. And I hear a siren right now, so I feel like that is important. In order to help them understand why they So they so often find